Let me tell you a story that will interest you. A crime story of the Vietnamese woman who almost collapsed her country's economy through scam. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel as you watch till the end. So this woman, her name is Truong My Lan. She was involved in what was said to be the biggest scam in Vietnam. Now she has to find $9 billion or she's going to die. If she repays at least 3/4 of the stolen amount, her death penalty could be reduced to life imprisonment. Let me explain how it all happened. Lan was born in 1956 in Saigon into a Chinese-Vietnamese family of traders. Lan began her career modestly, selling cosmetics at a local market. Over the decades that followed, now in her mid-20s, she built herself into one of Vietnam's most influential business figures. As chairwoman of Thinh Phat Group, a real estate agency, she controlled an empire of luxury hotels, office towers, and high-end developments in Ho Chi Minh City. She was known for her low public profile, rarely appearing in the media, yet everyone in Vietnam's business circles knew her name. Her family's real estate holdings, including the prestigious Times Square Saigon and Windsor Hotel Plaza, made her one of the richest women in the country.
Behind this glamour, however, lay a financial empire built on a web of secrecy and control. With all these, she was still so consumed in greed and would push herself to the maximum. In 2011, Vietnam's central bank encouraged weak banks to merge to stabilize the system. Lan seized that opportunity as a moment for her to execute her dubious plan. 3 struggling banks merged into a single entity under the SCB name. Behind the scenes, Lan orchestrated the merger and placed her people in key positions. Through a maze of ghost shareholders and shell companies, she gained control of SCB, even though she wasn't supposed to. Once she controlled SCB, she no longer had to ask for loans. She could approve them herself. This was the turning point for her. She created and controlled over 1,000 fake companies just to borrow money from Saigon Commercial Bank, SCB, the bank she secretly dominated. She set up companies, often registered under the names of her employees, drivers, or relatives. These companies applied for huge loans from SCB, using inflated or fake real estate projects as collateral. Because Lan effectively controlled SCB's top management, the loans were always approved, even when the paperwork was clearly suspicious. Once the money was dispersed, it was funneled back to her own businesses or used to pay off earlier debts. A cycle that made the bank look profitable on paper while actually hollowing it out. Lan cultivated relationships with several regulatory and political figures, especially in Ho Chi Minh City, through donations, gifts, and informal payments. These connections gave her early access to government land projects and preferential treatment in property licensing. She went as far bribing certain senior figures who allegedly helped disguise the financial manipulation.
The most notable one was one De Phang Nguyen, a former chief inspector at the State Bank of Vietnam, who was found guilty of accepting over $5 million in bribes from Lan. In exchange, she allegedly ensured that SCB wouldn't be subjected to serious inspections, effectively shielding the bank from scrutiny. Lan's empire expanded. Her family lived lavishly between opulent residences, chauffeured cars, and luxury properties. Her connections reached deep into Vietnam's financial system, with officials allegedly receiving bribes to overlook irregularities. Unlike many billionaires, she avoided the spotlight. She didn't flaunt luxury or give interviews. Most Vietnamese people didn't even know what she looked like until her trial. Her empire was enormous, but her personal life was mysteriously private, almost secretive. She preferred working from her mansion, surrounded by loyal aides. These fraudulent activities lasted until 2022, when whispers began spreading through social media and investor groups in Vietnam that the bank was in trouble. People feared the bank was short on cash and might collapse. Within days, panic hit the streets. Thousands of depositors rushed to SCB branches, lining up from early morning to withdraw their savings. Some brought family members to help carry cash. Others cried in frustration when they were told to wait. Videos of the chaos flooded online, and the panic kept spreading. To calm the situation, the State Bank of Vietnam stepped in, promising that people's money was safe. But behind the scenes, regulators launched an emergency audit to understand what had gone wrong. What they found shocked them. When investigators opened SCB's loan records, they discovered that a huge portion of the bank's money had gone to companies all linked to one person, Truong My Lan. Many of these companies had fake addresses, no real business operations, and no ability to repay their loans.
In October 2022, police arrested Truong My Lan, shocking Vietnam's business community. Thousands of investors, depositors, and employees suddenly found themselves entangled in a crisis that rippled across the country. Her trial began in early 2024 and drew intense public attention. The courtroom sessions were massive. Hundreds of defendants, thousands of pages of evidence, and testimony that detailed how money moved through ghost companies like a spider's web. In April 2024, the Ho Chi Minh City People's Court found her guilty of embezzlement, bribery, and violations of banking regulations. The court sentenced her to death, calling her crimes extraordinarily grave and her actions a betrayal of public trust.
The chair of a major property company in Vietnam has been sentenced to death in the country's biggest financial fraud case. Truong My Lan was on trial alongside 85 other co-accused for the embezzlement of $12.5 billion.
But in December 2024, her sentence was upheld. Still, under Vietnamese law, if she repays at least 3/4 of the stolen amount, her death penalty could be reduced to life imprisonment. Some of those executives were sentenced alongside her in 2024 for helping falsify loan records and concealing losses. Meanwhile, she continues to face additional charges in separate cases related to bond fraud and illegal money transfers. Today, Truong My Lan's empire has crumbled. SCB is under government supervision, and many of her properties have been seized. Thank you for following this story till the end, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on our next video.